Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary, coming to you with our annual project. Finally, it's like a month old, almost 2 months old. It should have happened in January. Oh, it is actually 2 months old. We are doing our sunflower or sunburst jacket, if you will. I have named it the Sunflower Delight Jacket of 2024. Now, the reason is because it is an annual project. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to take a whole year to create this beautiful jacket. Now, I have yarn. I have a square complete to show you. She's screaming. But we've got a lot to talk about today, so I'm not going to waste too much time. I will tell you, however, the yarn that I am using is Bendigo Woollen Mills, and I'll show you right now. But before I do, I want to show you the squares. It's Bendigo Woollen Mills luxury brand, okay? It's called Bendigo Woollen Mills Luxury. All right, 100% pure wool. You can use cotton, you can use acrylic, as long as you are using an 8-ply or a DK weight or a 3-weight yarn, and your gauge swatch matches this one, or this one is the original, but this one is what you will be doing today. Yay! This is what it will look like once your jacket's complete. So that is all of your colors, and check it out, nice close up. It's very nice. I haven't weaved these ends in because we're not supposed to be putting the brown on today, the darker color. All right, what we are doing today is just this little square that you see right here. And we're starting with the Clover Luxury. That is the brand that you're looking at. Yes. Now, I'm going to leave a response to them anyway, but someone messaged me, can we get this yarn in the US? You can order this yarn through Bendigo Woollen Mills, and I will leave their link in our description box or the more section down below so that you can click on the yarn. Now, this particular, I'll leave a link to the actual 8-ply luxury brand, and you can have a look at their yarns from there. So just click on that link, go straight to them. Now, I'm not affiliated with them. I just like to use this particular yarn. So just heads up there. But there you go. This one is called Clover. It is the dark green, which you will see in there. Yes. The next one is called Pumpkin Spice. I'll give you all the information on it in a minute. So that one is beautiful. I love that color, which is that second color. And your third color is called... what is it? Curry. Curry, and it is the golden color that you see right there. Your fourth color is called Koala, which I have used on the channel many times before, and that is the second last color. And your very last color is called Truffle. Okay, now truffle is the brown. That will be the entirety of your jacket. So when you see your jacket in full, that will be the border rounds of your jacket. All right, now this is my color combination. You don't have to use these colors. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, you don't have to use these colors. This is the actual color I'm using. I remember we talked about this jacket and I said we were going to use the colors of our feelings that month. Okay, because it's an annual project, every month I'll be doing an update and giving you some more information that you'll need for your jacket, yeah? So you can actually use the color combination to suit your feelings for that month. So let's say you're in a very happy month, you'll use like a bright oranges. If you're in a not so happy month, you'll get right into the very black. Let's pull out a black. You'll go right into the black because you know you're not having a happy month, yeah? That's what, I'm just trying to put some colors together there for you. But I will give you the information on how much you will need if you're creating the jacket in our colors. And then I'll give you the information on how much you will need if you're going to use different colors for each round and mix and match all of your stash. Get rid of all of your stash as you do. Well, as you should be doing, as I should be doing. But I got so fussy. And I'll give you all the information for each color. Now, this gives you the chance to get rid of your stash But then you still need to have a fair amount for the border round, because that border round is going around each square that we create and then going around your jacket, and then is going to have like some ribbing. I haven't decided whether we're doing ribbing or whether we're just doing rounds and rounds of double crochet. We'll talk about that probably towards the end. But in the meantime, the only reason I say when I give you the information for the yarn, just heads up, give yourself an extra 10 more grams or 10 meters or whatever it is. I haven't thought about it yet, because I may change my mind and do ribbing rows, which I shouldn't. And actually ribbing rounds, because it's going all the way around the front of your jacket. So it goes down the base of your jacket all the way around the back of your neck and back down the base on the other side. So if we decide to do ribbing, I will let you know. But I think at this stage, we're just going to go double crochets in the rounds. I will keep you informed in the next couple of weeks whether I change my mind, giving you the option to buy some more yarn if you need it. Right, but in the meantime, today all I want to talk to you about is the measurement of the square, the amounts of yarn you will need, roughly of what you will need, and also what you will need for your size. We will be doing 9 sizes, from extra small right up to 5 extra large. And what will happen is I will leave all that information for you once you have completed one square. Yeah, and once you've completed one square, just leave that last tail if you like. We'll talk about that on the next part of the series. This is part 1. There will be 12 parts because that's each month. I will probably do 2 parts in 1 month to catch up because somebody's a couple of months behind. Not me, it must be somebody else. And so she's a couple of months behind. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get you to head over to the workstation, have a look down at how you make this square. When you come back, we will have the mannequin here and we will be doing some measurements for your sizes. All right, head over to the workstation, have a play with the square, get the gauge right. Meet me back here in a moment and we'll talk about sizes. Alrighty guys, today we are creating this square here, and within the tutorial I explain this part of it, but don't worry about that for now. We are creating just this one today, and we're going to start off with the, let me give you the right colours, clover, which is the green. Then we're going to head over to pumpkin spice, which is the orange. And then we are going to go to the curry, yes. And then we're going to the koala, which is there. I've got them all over the table. All right, so this is the only thing we are creating today. And then we'll head over to the craft room and we'll talk about measurements, all right? So we're going to start off by using the clover, which is the green. So give yourself a bit of a longer tail, grab the working end of your yarn, wrap it around your fingers, forming a little X. Pop your hook under the first loop, grab that back loop and pull it up and through, and you have one there, and 2 in front. What you need to do is just grab everything, try not to let go, yeah? We're going to make 3 chains, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, yarn over twice, yarn over 3 times. Normally we'd put a stitch marker in there. We're going to wait a moment because we don't want to ruin our little magic loop here. We're just going to do 1 double crochet US in the center or 1 treble UK before we do the stitch marker. So yarn over your hook into the center, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now you can give your center a little bit of a tug, not much, because we want to fit another 14 double crochets or trebles UK in there. Yeah, let's do this a little bit. I find it a little bit too far away, and this is green, so it's dark green, so it's hard to see. So what you want to do is just grab your stitch marker and you need to pop it in the top 2 loops. We can get even closer, how's that, of that chain. So there's your stitch over here. You want to get to the top 2 loops of the chain 3 that you finished off with before you did your double, yeah, the top chain. And mine's really tight as usual. All right, so altogether you need 16 double crochets in the center. The chain 3 will act as 1. You've done a second one, so we need to do another 14. And off we go. Yarn over our hook in the center, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left, pull through another 2, and that is 3. And now let's do our 4th one. And a 5th one. And 6. All right, so what I'm going to do, you might find the same, I might tug it a little bit, and then we're going to put another 10 in there. I'm going to pop this on fast, and you're up to 6 and you need 16, and off we go. 7, and 16, like that. Now I forgot to mention earlier to crochet over the tail. I did put a little disclaimer up the top, so make sure you crochet over your tail or the next part's not going to work. And the next part is just pulling that tail shut, and there's your magic, the magic loop. Pop your tail at the back. You're going to slip stitch into that tight stitch marker. I say that because I do mine really tight. Slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. Okay, mine's too tight, so make sure yours isn't as tight as mine, guys. She says. All right, so where is it? Hello. So find your chain, your top chain, and pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. All right, make sure you count these stitches, and the way you count your stitches is you're counting these little V's. We probably should have counted them before we closed it tight, but if you did your count correctly, you would have 16. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the one that you are in is 16. All right, so pull up your loop a little bit. You're going to give your green a cut. Oh gee, I hope I cut the right green. I did. I thought I cut that tail then. All right, so cut your green. Grab your pumpkin spice. Okay. And we're going to start our, what we call puff round. All right, so we are here. Yeah. We're going to count back 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pop your hook in there. Don't need to count back 4. I just don't like to start the next colour in the same place as the chain, as the last stitch that we did. Yeah. All right, so grabbing your pumpkin spice. Whoops. Pull the loop through like so. Make sure you leave yourself a long tail for weaving in. Pass your tail forward because you're going to lock it into place. We don't knot here at Wow Crochet Designs. We lock into place and then we weave our ends in really well. Okay, so chaining 1 and 2 only. Don't worry about the stitch marker yet. Okay, in the same space we are putting our first puff stitch. Now we're going to start off with what I call the beginning puff stitch. It's not the same as the rest. Okay, you're only going to do 2 loops, and I'll explain that in a minute. So yarn over your hook into the same stitch you are in, pull a loop through and up, and you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over your hook again, straight back into the stitch, pull a loop through, and you've got 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over your hook, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, chain 1. All right, that's your first puff. That's what I call a beginning puff stitch. Drop that tail at the back now. You've crocheted over it once. We're going to go straight into the very next stitch. Yarn over your hook into the next stitch, and you're going to do the same, except you're not doing it 2 times, you're doing it 3 times. So yarn over your hook into the first stitch you come to, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over your hook, in the stitch, pull a loop through, 5 loops, yarn over your hook, into the stitch, pull a loop through, 7 loops you should have. So let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. All right, yarn over your hook, pull through all 7 loops, chain 1, hold it there for a minute. This is where I want you to grab your stitch marker. Where I want you to put your stitch marker is in between the 2 cluster sets. So just go around it like so. There. All right. So you are going to do the next cluster. We've done our chain 1, yep. Do your next puff stitch, I should say. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over your hook, pull through all 7 loops on your hook, chain 1. Now here we've got our stitch that's close to our knot. If you want to crochet over your knot, hold your thread in the back of your hand and jump straight into the very next stitch. Start your set, drop that green now. Yeah, yarn over your hook again into the stitch, pull a loop through, that's your second time. Yarn over your hook into the stitch, pull a loop through, that's the third time. Yarn over, pull a loop through all the loops on your hook, chain 1. All right, here's where it can get a little tricky, okay, especially the green because it's really hard to see. All right, so where we are is here. You've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. You need to do 16 sets. If you want to make sure you're going to fit 16 in without accidentally duplicating here, just, you've got your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, count back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16 is right there. So what we're going to do is yarn over our hook. We're not going to miss this 16th stitch. Be very careful. Pop your hook in, pull a loop up, yarn over your hook, into the stitch, pull a loop up, yarn over, into the stitch, pull a loop up, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook, chain 1. And your next one is right there. Pull a loop through, it's the chain, yeah? Yarn over, into the stitch a second time, pull a loop through, yarn over into the stitch a third time, pull a loop through, and you have all your loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all those loops, chain 1. What I'm going to show you here is, oh, there's a bit of fluff there, excuse me. What I'm going to show you here is the actual count across, and make sure that you don't add extra or you don't lose a stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? If you were going to count across, you go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You need to have 16 sets across. When it comes to this chain 3 here, it can be a little tricky. All right, so make sure that you have 16 across. In fact, you are going to head off on your own. You are going to continue your cluster sets. Make sure you get to that stitch right there, and I will meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this round, and how cute does this look? You'll probably notice your little green is loosening up. Just tighten it up. We're going to fix that up in a minute anyway. So let's just continue doing what we're doing. Make sure you've finished your last puff set, yeah, and your chain 1. Make sure you've chained that 1. And I asked you to pop your stitch marker right over here. Normally we would slip stitch in the stitch here, but to give this more definition, I've decided to slip stitch there. When we did this particular blanket right here, very similar stitch, not exactly the same, I slip stitched into I think the actual set itself, not the chains but the set. But for here, in this particular piece, we're going to slip stitch right into the space where the stitch marker is, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook, removing your stitch marker. All right, from here you're going to pull up a loop. We're going to change colors again. All right, cut this one first. Now, before we go ahead and change colours, make sure everything is correct. I'm going to show you how to weave in two ends, only because as we go along, we're making our square. Some of us like to weave our ends in as we go. So I figure if we do a little bit in our square, and if you like to do your ends at the end of the square, you can. But if we do a little bit now, you know exactly what to do. All right. So notice, let me bring this up a little. Notice how I gave that, it's the very first thread we're doing. I gave it a little bit of a tug because that eye or center opened up. So goes to show you that if you were to leave your end, if you were to cut it here and leave it, that center can still come undone, which is why I suggest weaving in the end. People say, oh, you don't need to, you've crocheted over it. This particular center can come undone and has in the wash many times before. So my suggestion would be to weave it in. This is coming out of this section here. We're going to go right into the opposite section there and just go through some thicknesses here, making sure you can't see the needle from the front and just pulling that through real tight. Yeah. Keep going in the round a little bit more in the round. Can't see the needle. Beautiful. And get to as close as this round here as you can. Then you're going back in the other direction, skipping a different stitch. Right now we're coming out of that stitch there. So what we want to do is skip over it and go into yet again another stitch. This will reinforce this center. You really need to focus on reinforcing this center. It can and it will come undone. It's one of those stitches that are not secure. That's not secure, I should say. All right, so there you go. You can keep going in the round. I think that's plenty now. As long as you've gone through once and then back the other time, we've already crocheted over it once. That's 3 times, yeah? And you just give your little piece a tug, yeah? Then what we're going to do, and I've made a mistake, let's put this stitch marker in my little bag. Oh, by the way, guys, we did this little basket here the other day here on the channel, and I did it so that when I'm picking up my stitch markers, it's not doing that while you're waiting for me to pick up the stitch marker. So if I put it in there, I can just grab it straight out of there. That's just a little bit of a tip. If you wanted to make that basket, I've left a link to that basket in the description box down below. Grab the next green colour for now. And there you go. And with the green, this one here, it's coming out from under there. Now we did crochet over it, didn't we? So what I want you to do is skip a little tiny bit of that pumpkin spice or orange, and then just pop your needle into the stitches under there, making sure you can't see the needle from the front, and you can't. And just whilst you're in there, maybe splitting a few of the green or a few of that pumpkin spice colour. Just split it a little bit, and what that will do exactly is stop that from coming out. You can go back the other way, but you know what I'm going to do first? I won't be able to do it in certain rounds, but I can do it in this round where I take a little bit of the green off there and then go into the very next stitch right there. I can't always do that, but I can do it in this round, and we can't see the needle, which means, I don't put that up there, you can actually pull that through there. Now that's gone through 2 of your little sets. You're going to go back in the other direction, splitting a different area so that you don't unravel your work. Pull it through, can't see the needle, perfect. And then you just give it a cut. The other thing I wanted to mention is when you're weaving in ends like this, where I tend to split, where a lot of people tell me not to, make sure everything is correct in your round first, because getting this yarn out once it starts to split will be so hard. You would have to cut into your work. All right, we are going to do one more thread, just this base one. This one we're going to leave, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just do the base one. Well, you can actually do that top one if you like. I'm leaving it and I'll show you why. Let's try that. It's splitting all over this place. Look at that yarn, splitting everywhere. All right, doesn't matter. So here we are with the stitching here. You can go any way you want. I'm going to go into the opposite direction first, going through some thicknesses, checking that you can't see the needle. See, if you can see the needle on the other side, then you'll be able to see the orange, and you don't want that. Yeah. And just going back in the other direction, just splitting that orange a little tiny bit, and then you can go through your 2 sets there. Perfect. You could do it one more time if you like, or you can cut it here. I would rather do it one more time. Check the front. Beautiful. Nothing. That's it. All right. Oh, that was really tight. I don't think that's coming undone. So when you do that, just give it a little gentle tug and it falls into the back of that shape there. All right. So the reason I'm not doing this one is because we're going to crochet over that with our very next colour, which is the curry. All right. So grabbing your new colour. And once again, you are moving 4 across. You go 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. Grab your curry or gold, pulling it through, passing your tail forward. Once again, we're going to lock that into place because we don't knot here in Wow Crochet Designs. We make sure we lock into place though. So we're chaining 1 and 2 again. Yeah. And in that space, we're not doing the same as these puff sets. We're now doing what we call double crocheting together. All right. In the first space, we'll be double crocheting 3 together. And in every other space, we'll be double crocheting 4 together. All right. So yarn over our hook into the space, pull a loop through like so, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Hold it there. Yarn over your hook into the space, pull a loop through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over your hook again into the space, pull a loop through, and now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You should now have 4 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, chain 2, 1 and 2. That is your cluster set. All right, so pop your tail at the back again. We've crocheted over that a little bit. We're going to jump right into the next space and do another one of these, except here the chain 2 acted as a double crochet, whereas here it'll all be in one set. All right, so yarn over our hook in the space, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2 once. Yarn over our hook in the space, pull a loop through, yarn over our hook, pull through 2 twice. We'll do it a 3rd time, 2, and we'll do it a 4th time, 2. Now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over our hook, pull through all 5 loops on your hook, chain 1 and 2. Just grab your stitch marker. You're going to pop it in this space right here. All right, so we're going to do a couple of more and then you're going to head off on your own. So the first one is yarn over your hook, pull that over and do your set. 1, 2, 3, 1 more, 4. We should have 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1 and 2. And then we're going to do one more, and that's okay because we're going to do it over this tail. Grab the tail and just pop it at the back of your fingers there. You're going to crochet over it. So pop your hook in that space, pull a loop through. You can drop your tail now if you like. Yarn over your hook, pull through 2, yarn over into the space. Pull a loop through, yarn over, 2, into the space for a 3rd time, pull a loop through, yarn over, 2, into the space for a 4th time, which is the last time, pull a loop through, yarn over, 2. You should have 5 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1 and 2. All right, so I'm guessing you get the picture. Okay, what I want you to do is do your, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, make sure you have 16 puff stitch sets in your round. Make sure you've counted that you've got the 16. If you've got more, take it undone, and it's likely that you may have messed up near the chain area, which can happen. Yeah, I've done that many times before. So make sure you've got 16 puffs, and then keep going and make sure you have 16 cluster sets of these in the round. All right, so continue to do your sets in each space until you get to your very last set right there, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this round, and we are going to, this is why I asked you to put your stitch marker here. We are going to close off. Make sure, let's bring this up. Make sure that you have done your last set and you have chained 2 before you slip stitch to join. So all you're doing, if you can probably remove that now. So really all you're doing is slip stitching right over to that stitch marker, pop your hook in, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Pull up your loop, and yeah, well, we have to do another cut. Beauty is pain, guys. It's pain. All right, so there you go. Now this could be a little bit wonky at the moment, but once we do our next round, that will sort itself out. So let's get on with our next round. Very interesting round we have here. Now, to start, don't forget you're weaving in your ends as you go. I didn't weave in the last end. I won't do that until I do the next round. Yeah. So before we were going across 4. For this one here, we're going to count 5. And I'll explain that to you later. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to start right there. Pop your hook right in the space like you did in the previous round. Grab your new colour, and mine will be the koala. Okay, so grab that new colour, pop the little thread over your hook, and just pull a loop through. Straighten it out. Make sure you've got yourself enough tail to weave in, but not too much where you're wasteful. So grab your little tail, passing it forward like we've been doing, chaining 1, 2, 3, and 1 more, 4. In this round, you'll be starting with a chain 4, and you'll be popping your stitch marker in the top 2 loops of that final chain. All right. In this round here, we're going to turn our circle into a square. To turn it into a square, we need to form a corner, and this is going to be our corner. And we're going to put 2 trebles in this space now. 2 trebles US, double treble UK. So yarn over your hook twice. All right. Normally for a double crochet, we just go like that. But now we're going once and twice into the space, and we're crocheting over the tail. Yep. Pull a loop through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through the next 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. We're going to do another one, yarn over the hook twice, into the space, pull a loop through, 4 loops, yarn over 2, 3 loops, yarn over 2, 2 loops, yarn over last 2. All right, from here, this chain 4 will act as your first treble or your first double treble UK. We are now going to make the corner, which is chain 1 and 2, and in the same space we're going to do 3 trebles US, 3 double trebles UK. So yarn over your hook twice, into the space, and doing your treble. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and once again you're popping that tail right at the back. So now we're going to do the side of your square. Now the first set we put in here will be our double crochet set, and double crochet, yarn over your hook,
into the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2, double US, treble UK, 2 more. You know how to do these, you did them in the first round of our square. And there's your 3 doubles. In the next space right here, you're doing half doubles US, half trebles UK. Yarn over your hook, pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over your hook, pull through all 3 loops. That's a half double. Yarn over into the space again, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. There's your second one more, into the space, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So it's going to start leveling everything out. Next space, we're going back to our doubles. Off we go doing our doubles. 3 of them. It's always 3. And also there are no chains in between these cluster sets. All right, just remember that. We have been chaining in these, but we're not chaining in this one. Now this is why I asked you to go back 5, because you've got this tail. You can crochet over this tail with your next corner. So we're putting a treble, set of trebles in here. So yarn over your hook twice into the space. Notice how I'm holding that tail. This isn't necessary. This is just something I do. Yarn over the hook, pull through, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through the next 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Once again, 2. You can drop that tail now and just keep doing your trebles. That's your second one. You've got another one. That is your third one. And now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and put another 3 trebles in here. So yarn over your hook twice into the space with your trebles. Second one. And third one. That noise is a stitch marker on the table. Sorry, guys. Next space, what are you doing? Doubles. You're going back to doing this side right here. So doubles, 3 doubles, 1, 2, and 3. Next space, half doubles. In the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Just seeing if we remember that stitch, and off we go doing our 3 half doubles. Yeah. Next space, doubles. Whoops, whoops, pulled that twice, didn't I? 1, hello, 2, and 3. All right, so what you've done is that you did 1 corner and a side, 1 corner and a side. We're going to do yet again another corner. So yarn over your hook twice, jump into the space and keep doing your 3 trebles. That's your first one. That is your second one. And that is your third one. Chain 1 and 2 and 3 trebles, all in the same space. 2, and 3. All right, like that. So there you go. So what you have is 1 corner, 1 side, 1 corner, and a second side. All right, so that's all I want to show you. I think you can do the rest on your own. You need to pop a double set here, half double, double, corner, double, half double, double, and wait for me there. All right, so double, half, double, corner, double, half, double, and wait for me right there. All right, go ahead and do the rest of this round, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this round, and already you can see that it's kind of straightened up your work a little bit. Yeah, and we'll talk about the rest in a minute. And look at those colours. Oh my gosh, simply divine. Alright, so what we're going to do now, make sure everything is correct and slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. And I might take my stitch marker out because I did a Mary, which is a very tight chain. Don't do a Mary, guys. Don't do a Mary. So pop your hook in there, into the stitch. Pull your loop through like so. Pull it through to the loop on your hook. Pull up your loop. And yes, you guessed it. We're giving it a cut one last time. Now I say one last time for today. All right. What I want you to do now is just grab your measuring tape.
Now, what I want you to do now is to measure what I call the widest part of your body. Whether you are the widest on your chest, that's the measurement we're going by. Whether your waist is the widest, that's the measurement we're going by. If your hips are the widest, that's the measurement we're going by. Now, because our jacket might go further, you might find that your circumference of your thigh from one thigh to the other is bigger. So take that measurement. Either way, take chest, waist, hips, and thighs, if you will. All right? Because our jacket will go, and let me explain it on her. That's the back, the middle of her back, the waist part. Then you've got the hips there, and just below the hips, it'll go down maybe 10 centimetres or 15 centimetres below her hips. So it kind of covers our back area. I won't say what that is there. You work it out. But it kind of covers that area for you during the colder months where you need it the most. All right. So let's... you need it the most. I need it the most there. So let's measure her up. She's so naughty. Let's measure her up. This lovely lady is 98 centimetres in her chest, right? Let's measure her waist. Her waist is... 80 centimetres, right? So far 98 is the widest. So far we're going with that. But let's keep going on. Let's go on the hips and check the hips out. And the hips is 104, all right? Now I did this on purpose. I made the hips larger, just so that you can understand the concept of what I'm saying. She's 98 here, 80 something here, but 104 down here. So we're going with the 104 measurement. So at the end of this video, when you see the measurements up on the screen and the amount of yarn for that measurement, then that's the measurement you go by for your size. So let's say you were 104, right? Your hips. Let's just say your hips are 104. You go across to 104 where it says the largest circumference of your body. If it's 104, you go across and you know that yarn for 104 is the amount of yarn you will need for your size. So I'm hoping this makes sense. When you see it up on the screen, it'll look a lot easier for you to read. All it's asking you to do is get your largest measurement, and there'll only be one measurement: chest, waist, hips, or thighs. Pick which one's the biggest. Have a look up on the screen and look at the yarn. That's the amount of yarn you will need for that size. You don't need to worry about anything else yet. All you need to worry about for now is the amount of yarn you will need for your size. And when it comes in, unless you've got some in stock already, you can start creating this square that you just saw. If you're using acrylic, wool or cotton, as long as it's an 8-ply or a DK weight, continue to use it. Just check your gauge. All right. Once you get your yarn, what I want you to do for now is to make 8 of these squares this size, as long as you've got the size correct. Yeah, I want all sizes to just make 8 squares. Now the reason we're doing 8 squares is because the next time we meet, I'm going to show you ways different ways that you can join your squares, and that's going to happen over the next few months. Each month there'll be a new way of joining your square, right? So if you don't like that first join that we did, next month you can try the other join, all right? So giving you 8 squares, it's giving you a chance to have a play with joining squares, all right? That's all I'm doing the 8 squares for now. But you will need your 8 squares, obviously, for your jacket when your jacket is ready to go. We'll talk about the rest of the jacket on part 2 of our Sunflower Delight jacket of 2024.
Alrighty guys, I just stopped right there. The square that I just made measures roughly 9.5 centimeters, or the inches are up on the screen right there. All right, and the other size that I've got here, using a different hook size, measures 10.5. Now, it doesn't matter what these measure. What yours need to measure is what you see up on the screen there right now. All right, so let's take, for argument's sake, extra small and large. You guys can do the same size square that I just made. But for small, yours needs to be 10. Medium, yours needs to be 10.5, etc., etc. All right? So what I want you to do is actually work your square for the centimetres or inches as well, that is, that you see up on the screen there for your size. Don't worry about how many squares you'll need right now. Just worry about making the squares for your measurement. For argument's sake, I will be making the large, so I'll probably use a 9.5 centimetre square, which is the 4mm hook that I use to make that size. So what you need to do is not so much focus on the hook size, focus on the measurement of the square for your size. All right, and there it is again. These are the measurements of each square that you need for your size. All right, so coming back to this square again, don't worry about this last colour you see. We're not even going to worry about measuring that. What we've measured is that square right there. All right, and you can see these two squares, they're totally different sizes. They're a little bit out of shape, but once you put that final round on, they straighten up. All right, now the other thing I wanted to show you, for these particular rounds, that's round 1, this is round 2, this is round 3, and this is round 4, and this is round 5. Okay, but don't worry about the round 5, that's going to be all included. At the end of this video, I will tell you exactly how many grams you will need for each square for that round. Because if you want to make this in your own colours instead of mine, then you will need to calculate how many grams your each round will take. All right, but I have put at the end my yarn, my colour combination that you've seen here. I've put the amount of yarn you will need per colour, all right, per size. But if you wanted to change, like let's say you used the gold here, then you used the brown, then you used the green, then you used the orange, you kind of have to work your sizes out yourself. But a rough amount of measurements that you will see at the end of this video for your size. If you're using the combination that I'm using where it's the same colours all the way through your square. All right, so this is going to be my jacket. This colour combination you see right here is going to be my jacket. All right, so you need to decide for yourself if you want to use your own colours. You need to total your own rounds up. Okay, but if you want to use mine, I will leave mine. The very first information you see is going to be the size information of the squares that you will need for your size. Each square needs to be what you saw on the screen before, and that will be the first thing you see. The second thing you see will be the amount of yarn you will need for your size if you're using my colours, and the names of my colours as well. And the next thing that you will need to do is if you want your own colours, I will give you the amounts that you will need for your size, all right? So you need to work that one out yourself, but if you're using the colours that I'm using or using the system I'm using where all your green will be round 1, orange round 2, gold round 3, koala round 4, and a dark brown will be your final round in the squares, all right? I have totaled the last round here
Included is the border rounds that we're going to create as well for your measurements. But again, if you're going to use your own colour combination, I've left that at the very, very end of this tutorial. So I'm hoping that makes sense. If you're having any trouble understanding what I've said there, leave a comment in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. All you need to remember right now is to make the square, that measurement that you see up on the screen right now, for your size, all right? That's the largest measurement for your size, whether it be your thighs, your hips, your waist, or your chest. That is the largest measurement that you need for your size, all right? Also, guys, I did forget to show you some other color combinations, so I'll do that quickly now. This is the one I'm using. This is going to be my autumn winter jacket, if you will, and these are some of the other color combinations that you can come up with. They're simply divine. I don't have those colors with me, so I can't use them, but if you wanted to, these are other color combinations that you can use. You can also pop darker ones in front and make the lighter ones on the end. You look, the list is endless. But just letting you know, there are other color combinations you can use. And there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching us here at Wow Crochet Designs and hearing all about the Sunflower Delight Jacket of 2024. Don't forget to join us on our lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons, 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. We have a lot of fun, and probably too much. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Share the love, guys, because at the end of the day, this is what we're here for, to share the love. Stick around for the end of the video. I'll give you all that information again on sizes and how much yarn you will need if you're using my color combination. If you're using your own color combination, you need to work it out the way I showed you a moment ago. If there's any problems, don't forget to leave any messages or comments that you may have in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you with all the information. Yay! How gorgeous is the square? I am loving it, guys. I am so loving it. All right, thank you for joining us, and ciao for now. Oh, I can't wait to make our jacket. Oh, what's my favorite color?